Okay, so this will be the mock-up boot now of just before the 5th prototype. So this is not a real boot, this is sort of just like an assembly to save cost and also to allow to get the X design to fit exactly on the boot as I had wanted to according to my original designs. So here's what we did. We had the manufacturer take the design and specifications that I showed you last time from that sheet of paper, and they cut out this X in leather and then they mounted it, or sewed it I should say, to the boot. Now everything is good. The only thing that needs to be changed is from here, the middle of the X should come to the top here of the boot as opposed to down a little bit. Other than that, everything is good. So let me explain to you why this might look a little bit deceiving, because this is so long here. This part here, I'll show you. They marked it on the back. You see that little line back here? That's called the last line. This is where from here down. So I drew lines here in pencil. It's hard to see, but from here down is where it gets tucked underneath the boot. So in other words, this part gets pulled underneath, and then I guess they nail it, or somehow they affix it to the bottom, so the boot is actually starting here. So like the leather piece, the leather boot will start here. It's hard to visualize, but you guys will see in the next version. So this point here is actually where the very bottom of the boot is. So now to finish with this, the next step is, and I'm just going to, as I'm talking, I'm just going to show you just the basic sewing here. The next step is to do a grading system, and the grading system is to make sure that the X can fit on multiple sizes so that this X scales. So the X might look a little different on different sizes, but it will meet these points. So this might come out further in a larger size. And the reason why we're doing this grading system is because we're going to try to save money. It will cost we're going to have 2 of these X's made out of metal, die cast, so that it's like a metal piece, and then it's like a drill press. You press down. I've never seen the machine, but I would assume this is what it looks like. And then you press it down, and then it cuts out this leather X exactly perfect, like a cookie cutter. So you're looking at like $750 to $800 plus shipping. So $2,000 to get this X design, 2 of these X's to fit on all the sizes. Not children's size, but we're talking like 7 through 12. Now, because of that, the X might be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger on each different size, but at least it won't cost 10, 15 grand, because that would be impossible to do at this point in time. So in specifically in that regard, we're going to scale them in different sizes. They're going to send me the X. I'm going to have to try to lay it out appropriately per different size, and then send it back to them. And then they're going to have to, I suppose they'll make 1 of these for every size and see if it's okay. So this particular project, the scaling of the X, I presume will take up most of the summer. I'm hoping not. And then lastly, once the scaling of this X is completed, and again, it's important that the grading or the scaling of the X be good for all the sizes, and that, like little things like, see how this sticks out here a little bit, that's going to be fixed, but the angles are right, it's pleasing to the eye, all the measurements. So for instance, this here is supposed to meet the bottom of this eyelet here, the 5th eyelet or something like that. So once this is all correct, then we have to go on finally to the last stage of creating this Xtreme Ice Skate. And the last stage is to actually create the prototype, a working prototype that I could take to the rink and use or test out. So one of the hardest things in the last prototype is going to be trying to get the ankle pocket really wide, sort of like the same width you would find in a hockey skate, and actually wider, because this is going to be a stiff boot. So it's important that it doesn't squeeze against your ankle bones, so it doesn't hurt. That's one of the important things that I noticed in the Xtreme Ice Skates that I have now. And also the stiffening has to be right in the correct areas. My feeling was originally that the stiffening had to be really tight up here, and the flex point not as much. But it might be so that the stiffening has to be equal all across. So we'll have to figure that out. Alright guys, so basically that's it. And I should have another video about the grading and the scaling of the X. I'm thinking it's going to be another 6 weeks, but hopefully sooner. And I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.